It is August the 6th, 2025. I'm in a sad place today, and that is the cemetery at Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. A lot of people were killed, of course, in the three-day battle in July 1, 2, 3 in 1863 in Gettysburg. It was the largest casualty count for a single battle in the United States history. 51,000 people more or less were killed, wounded, captured, missing in action, or generally described as a casualty. Over 7,000 were killed over the course of those 3 days. Now, it would be remiss, of course, not to mention that August the 6th is a very sad day for humanity indeed, because it is 80 years ago this very day when the first atomic bomb was dropped on the unfortunate city of Hiroshima in Japan. I would also point out that that was a tiny nuclear device in the bigger scheme of things 80 years later. That, I believe, if my memory serves me right, was 16 kilotons. Now we're talking about 200,000 kilotons is a relatively medium-sized big bomb, and they're actually up to megatonnage as well, so that's a smaller one. Anyway, this is the cemetery that after the battle in November the 18th, I believe it was, 1863, Abraham Lincoln came down here and he gave a speech dedicating this burial ground that you see here all around the place. And he will give a shortened speech, which of course is part of a much longer speech, as frequently happens, but it's described as the Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Well, they are created equal at birth, and it should be in a just society that everybody would have equal opportunity. Obviously not all men are created equal in of themselves, because otherwise I'd be a great basketball player or whatever. But all people should have equal opportunities in law and in life, without any detriment making their life any more difficult than it is. That is what I believe all men are created equal to mean. Now, there are some people buried here, of course, from other wars too. See, a lot of people here were from the Second World War. Many of them will, for example, this fellow here from Pennsylvania, he was killed on March the 18th, 1945. But quite a number of them were survived, and they're laid out in the years in which they died in sort of rows like this. It's a very cool thing. But I did come over here a little earlier just to have a look around, because this is outside my area of expertise, which is Massachusetts. So I'm certainly speaking off the ad lib here today. I was looking at this fellow here, 1945, and I was struck by the fact that the fellow that was killed in the war in 45, his widow continued on to January 2012, lived just over 90 years of age. So that poor woman would have had to live 67 years as a widow without her husband, because unfortunately he got killed in the war in Europe. Very similar one back here, Angelo W. Under. He was killed on June the 10th, 1944. And obviously much later his widow was buried beside him, and she also lived to a very long time, October the 12th, 2011. She too had 66 to 67 years of widowhood. Every one of these people here give their effort for, well, for freedom, I guess. Freedom must be always cherished, because we are getting less free by the day, so it's an old story in history indeed. Now this is where Hall's Battery, people from Maine came all the way down here. They were positioned here on July the 2nd, 1863. That of course was day number 2. Gettysburg was a battle of missed opportunities, perhaps from the Confederate point of view. And they just didn't have luck on their side. They came very close, but when they didn't press their advantages and continue in the first day, well, their moment passed, and 3 days later they were defeated, and it was downhill from them from that point on. General Meade, M-E-A-D-E, was the Union commander. He had shortly there before, actually 3 days before that, he had replaced the last fellow, General Hooker, H-O-O-K-E-R. Now, it is a peaceful place. I'll just have one little look at this building over here, see what it is. Now, I'm assuming it is used for making a speech or whatever. Now, Gettysburg, of course, is well worth a visit. I've had a most enjoyable day here with my son, and I will continue on. Oh, okay, so the Ranger program is here at 5:30, but we will be well on our way by then. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody.